let's say, DMT and dimethyltryptamine. This is one of the. Ultimately, we are all inclined to the divine. You don't have to take external psychedelic drugs to experience
And some of the esoteric stuff that people don't know about Kundalini.
consciousness that's experiencing it. So you must have heard that a lot of people get out of body experiences or hallucinations when they take certain psychedelic drugs. In today's world, most of us have a very degenerated insular cortex.
Hi Ajay, nice to meet you, bro. Guys, he's a guy who knows a lot about this stuff, and he's gonna enlighten us on a few topics that we are gonna ask him questions about. So, Ajay, let's get straight into it. The first question that I wanna ask you is, what is spirituality, and why should people get into spirituality? I mean, people today are suffering a lot, like especially mental illnesses are taking a toll on people today. So, how does it, really impact everyone? Please explain.
Hi Krishna, I hope you're doing well today. It's a beautiful morning. Yeah, sure. So, let us try to understand a little bit about spirituality today. So, before we dive into the question why spirituality, let us try to understand a little bit about what spirituality is. So, spirituality, in my opinion, is an understanding of our body, mind, and soul in correlation with matter, then energy, and consciousness, respectively. So, what is spirituality and why spirituality? If you ask yourself the question, who are you? You are a body. You are a body with a mind and a soul. Or let's say you are a matter with energy and consciousness that is experiencing nature or the divine consciousness. So, spirituality is all about penetrating your consciousness to the cosmic consciousness and experiencing the entrancement of it. So, that could be a simple definition of what spirituality is. And why spirituality? Because ultimately we are all inclined to the divine, because this is the ultimate journey. We are naturally inclined to the divine. We have this tendency to become the greatest version of ourselves, right? I mean, even an atom is striving its best to become its greatest version. A tree is trying to become a full-fledged tree. So is a human being. So what is the greatest version of a human being? Let's try to understand what it is. The greatest version of a human being is to become the highest version of his or her consciousness.
I totally agree, bro, on the definition of spirituality. But, bro, you mentioned consciousness. So, I would like you to elaborate on what consciousness is and where is it in our body, because people get really confused about these topics. Please shed some light on it.
We are a consciousness that's experiencing nature, right? Let us try to understand what consciousness is and where does it lie in a human body. So consciousness as it is a single line that doesn't have any feature. So everything you see around you, whatever that is of existence, is very conscious, because that is a divine line in which everything exists in an equilibrium. So, as a human being, where does consciousness lie in your body? So, when you look at the anatomy of a brain, it has different cortexes, right? So, your ability to think and all sorts of cognitions happen from the prefrontal cortex. But towards the right of your prefrontal cortex, down there is something called insular cortex. So insular cortex is where your consciousness exists. It has been neurologically proven that consciousness lies in the insular cortex of human being. In today's world, most of us have a very degenerated insular cortex. So that is one of the reasons why we are very detached from one another. So, giving rise to this insular cortex is all about st- starting to vibrate or live close to the divine consciousness. So, how do we do it? There are so many yogic practices to give rise to our insular cortex and start experiencing the divine consciousness. And one of that practices is called the Kundalini Yoga.
Bro, I would like to stop you there for a second. You mentioned Kundalini Yoga here. For our audiences who don't know, can you please explain what Kundalini is and what are some of the ways and some of the esoteric stuff that people don't know about Kundalini?
So, talking about Kundalini, Kundalini is a Sukshma Shakti or an energy that is lying dormant at the base of your spine. So, the word Kund means a pit in Sanskrit. So, there is a pit that is in between your anus and the tip of your spine at the base, and that is where exactly Kundalini lies. The Sukshma Shakti lies dormant in that coccyx area. Well, how do we activate Kundalini? See, you don't have to activate Kundalini. It is already active. It is what's keeping you alive. So there are ways in which it protects you in worse scenarios when you go beyond what you are supposed to experience. For example, suppose you are taking some drugs, or let's say even alcohol, beyond a certain extent, your body and your spirit goes out of equilibrium. So in order to protect you from going out from existence, or let's say die, Sukshma Shakti comes into play to help you recover yourself. So that is when you experience the glimpse of realities beyond what you can perceive with your senses. So you must have heard that a lot of people get out of body experiences or hallucinations when they take certain psychedelic drugs. So what is happening? It's just that you and we don't sense things beyond a certain range of frequency with whatever senses, let's say. So that doesn't mean that there is nothing that is existing beyond that. See, even dogs, let's say dogs have the ability to sense beyond a normal human being. How is it doing that? Because there exists things beyond our perception. So this is exactly what's happening when we take certain chemicals that alter the state of our mind and equilibrium of it. So that is where Kundalini comes into play.
Bro, it's funny that you mentioned psychedelic drugs. Now, people really do look down upon the people who do psychedelics. Alcohol, drugs, and etc. etc. Hey, can you please explain the spiritual significance of psychedelic drugs, because it's used in a little of the tantra rituals and stuff like that. Please shed some light on it.
So let us try to understand what these drugs are. Whatever, let it be psychedelic or serotonic or whatever, including alcohol. These are all chemicals, right? So, what is the greatest chemical factory in the world? The greatest chemical factory in the world, or probably in the whole wide universe, is our body, a human body. Everything you experience is a chemical reaction. You see, if you're happy, your brain secretes hormones that make you happy. If you're depressed, your brain secretes hormones that make you depressed. There are so many hormones that come into play: dopamine, serotonin, all these. Even whatever you eat, if you want to digest that, there are so many chemicals that come into play. So everything is a chemical reaction in your body. So when you alter the threshold of these chemicals that function in your body to regulate the normal equilibrium of your existence, definitely you start experiencing reality beyond what your senses can perceive. Well, talking about psychedelics, See, you don't have to take external psychedelic drugs to experience reality beyond your senses. Because you see, most of the psychedelic drugs can naturally be produced in our body itself. Let's say DMT and dimethyltryptamine. This is one of the strongest psychedelic drugs out there, and it is scientifically proven that it is produced in the body, in the human body itself, especially in lungs, and a little bit of it is even found in pineal glands. And there has been a lot of mysteries about pineal glands, and talks about all these third eye activations and all these stuffs. So let us stop for today with this basic understanding. And if you got interested with this topic, kindly like and subscribe, and we will be coming up soon with detailed explanation about all these, so that you can take away something of your interest and encouragement. Have a nice day, everybody. Take care. Namaste.